Hey guys, it's Lego Boy Z3. Today I'm going to show you how to take apart and reassemble any Square-1. So this is just going to be a really quick assembly tutorial for these three puzzles. This one is a Shang Shao, this one is a Cube Twist. These two are exactly the same puzzle, they just have different brandings. And this one is the Chi Yi. And so of course these two are taken apart exactly the same, so just going to put this one off to the side. This one is a little bit different, but it should be pretty similar. And if you have any other Square-1, just try each of these methods and one of them will probably work. So the Cube Twist is the simplest one to take apart. All you have to do is turn a layer like this, so just like that, and then just try and turn the top layer. So hold it back here and turn it, and these two pieces will just pop out. And you can keep doing that with these two pieces, and just go all the way around and take them all off. From there, if you want to take off the other side, you can just spin it around and do the same thing. It's a lot easier. And then same thing on this side. And there you go, you just have this little part. And if you want to continue taking this part off, all you have to do is find the little hole that'll make it a little bit easier. Actually, I guess this one doesn't have one. But just get a nail under there and you can unscrew that, or on the other side if it's not there, and take those two halves apart, but I really have no reason for doing that right now. Next up, this one, because it is a stickerless puzzle, or if you just have a Chi Yi puzzle in general, it'll have this design. What you have to do is turn it like this, kind of like halfway, and put your finger right there, and just kind of pull. And eventually the piece will come apart like this. And it may not work on the first one that you try, so if that one doesn't work, just try and do another one. I've done it on most all of these, so they all work, but it may be a little bit tight at first. And so after you have this, you're just going to grab this piece kind of carefully and just kind of wiggle it back and forth until eventually it'll come out like that. And if you want, you can put these pieces back together just to keep track of them. Now what you can do is do the same thing with one of these pieces, but first you have to separate the two colors. Something under there, a nail, something like that. Yeah, until eventually it'll split apart and it'll just come apart. And it may take a little bit, but it does eventually come off, and then you can take this off and put the pieces back on. Now at this point, what you can do on this puzzle is just kind of wiggle the pieces out, because you have a big space here. And come on, there we go. And you can do this with however many pieces you want. I'm not going to really do the whole thing because there's really not a whole lot of reason to take the whole thing apart, and it's a little bit more difficult than the Cube Twist. So yeah, I think that's good enough. If you wanted to take off the corners, you could, but that's fine for me. And on this cube also, you have there's a little hole somewhere right here. You can stick your nail under and unscrew the screw in there. And if you can't get any of these cubes apart, then just open up the cap like this and unscrew it, and all the pieces will just fall apart. Just make sure not to lose the little washer inside if you have one. And so yeah, that's pretty much how you do it. You can take the pieces out one by one, you can take it apart and unscrew it, whatever, and it'll end up looking something like this. Now to reassemble it, I'm just going to start with the Chi Yi because it's a little bit easier. So I'm not going to put this the first corner in right away. I'm just going to get the two blue pieces right next to each other and put the blue edge in between. And so we just kind of slide it in reverse of what we did earlier. Get the red one, slide that one in, kind of just do it to the side. And finally, is there another one? There's not another one. So I'll just get either one of these two. I'll just do orange, doesn't really matter. And then we'll break apart this corner piece, like we did earlier, and put the white part into here, just like that. And then we can snap on these two halves. And then finally we can take this piece off, put it in right there, just kind of wiggle it in, and then put that piece right back on. If you unscrewed it, it'll be a little bit different. You just kind of have to assemble both halves one at a time. It'll be a little bit easier because you can just slide the pieces on and put it together and screw it in. And so now on the Cube Twist, it's going to be a little bit different. So you're going to want to put in all the corners first. I'm not going to really pay attention to the color because it will take too long. So you just misalign it a little bit. Put one corner in, another corner. Make sure you get the colors lined up right. And the last one, you have to move this one off to the other part and stick that corner into there. It'll go in eventually. If you just can't get one of them in, then what you can do is just take off the cap like I showed you earlier, unscrew it a little bit, and then it should make it easier to just fit the last pieces in, and then you can screw it, tighten it in a little bit more. There we go. Now you find the edge that goes in between here. So find one of these little pieces, put it in between, and then move it over all the way to the opposite side. Find an edge that goes into here, and then these two opposite pieces are going to be the most tricky. You're just going to put in one of them, and then you're going to move it around to the other side. And while it's still like this, you're going to hold this piece in place so it doesn't pop out, and very carefully try and insert this piece. And as long as you're holding this piece in the back and you're putting this in very carefully with as little movement as possible, you see this one's popping out. Eventually, you should be able to get both of them to stay in at the same time. There we go. And just snapped in, and we're done. So just repeat that on the other side, and you'll be done assembling this cube. And also note that if you unscrewed this puzzle, it'll be the exact same process. You just take them apart, slide all the pieces on. So slide these 4 pieces on, these 4 pieces, and the 4 pieces or 8 pieces on this side, and stick them together and screw it in. It's as simple as that, and then you're done. And so we are all done with these 2 cubes, and that's pretty much it for this video. If you liked it, leave a like down below. If it helped you at all, definitely like it. Leave some suggestions down below for more future videos I can make like this in the future. If you need any help with doing this for any particular puzzle, I can do it for almost any of them, so just leave a comment down below and ask me. And also stay subscribed to be notified when another video like this comes out. See you guys next time. Bye!